Anyway, Jung had this experience, which he describes in this book, where he is sitting in a room with a patient. He has his back to the window. The patient, a female patient, sitting on a couch, and the patient is talking about a dream she had. And the centerpiece of that dream is a scarab beetle. And a scarab beetle is a creature that's very common in Southern Europe and Northern Africa. It's a very common symbol of iconography in the hieroglyphics on the tombs in Egypt, on the obelisks, etc. And this beetle was the fulcrum of her dream. So while he's talking to her, Jung hears this bing, 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 bing on the window behind him, and he doesn't want to. It's irritating him, but he doesn't want to look around and see what it is because he doesn't want to take his attention off the patient. He's scared of breaking this, bond that he has with her. But finally, he gets exasperated, and he turns around. He throws open the window, and a scarab beetle flies in and lands in his palm. And he turns to her and he said, "Is this what you were dreaming about?" And those kind of things happen to him a lot. And they happen to all of us, right?
Sure.
But the chances of that happening are 1 in a trillion, right? But nevertheless, it happened. It violates all the laws of nature. So Jung tried to reproduce this phenomena in a clinical setting. So he would put one guy in one room and another guy in another room, and he'd have them flip cards. And he would then try to get them to guess what the other guy had flipped. And he believed that if he could beat the laws of percentages, that he would have proven the existence of a supernatural law, something that was beyond natural law, beyond nature, beyond anything that we could explain with mathematics, percentage, etc. He never succeeds in doing it. And he says that in this book. What he says is that I can't use empirical tools and scientific tools to prove the existence of a God, but that I can prove that, having seen tens of thousands of patients come through his hospital, that people who believe in God get better faster and that their recovery is more durable and enduring. And for me, reading that was much more impactful than if he had said that he had proven the existence of a God, which I would not have believed.
Right, not at that point.
What he was saying was, it's irrelevant if there's a God up there or not. If you believe in one, your chances of living a healthier life and of recovery are better. And it's an easier path. And at that point in my life, I had made a vow that I would do anything at all, if it increased my chance of recovery by even 1%. So I made an intellectual decision. I'm going to start believing in God. Now, I was raised.
You were raised Catholic. Every day.
But when you live against conscience, you push, any kind of notion of God, as I said, over the periphery of your horizon. So, God, I never disbelieved it. I never renounced my belief. But it was no longer part of my, sort of daily cosmology. So, but I made a decision. I'm going to start believing in God because it's going to improve my chance of recovery. And then I'm confronted with the dilemma of how do you start believing in something that you can't see or smell or touch or taste or hear or acquire with your senses. And Jung solves that problem by saying, fake it till you make it. Act as if. And he said, the compliance, the faith will precede the evidence, that there will be evidence that will be overwhelming.
When did you stop faking it? When did you fully believe that?
I'll tell you what happened to me. I immediately, while I was reading this book, I said, okay, this is the answer. So I'm just going to start pretending there's a God up there, that he's looking at me all the time, he or she. I don't care. I doubt they have a sex. It has a sex. But it's an entity that's looking at me all the time. And that life is kind of a test, and that, we're supposed to do the right thing, and I'm supposed to behave myself even when I don't have an audience, so even when nobody's watching me. So I started breaking my day down into a series of decisions that now, about 40 decisions each day now, each one has a moral implication. So when the alarm goes off in the morning, do I get immediately out of bed, or do I stay in bed with my indolent thoughts for another 20 minutes? Do I hang the towel up after I take a shower? Do I make my bed? It's the most important thing. I